It's Rocco's as well as Ask Rocco Media's mission to bring you uncensored, unbiased, and unrelenting business information to increase sales and create the celebrity status you deserve.
You know, sometimes your determination becomes a rage almost, and you don't know what you're doing anymore. You just want to get it done. Step back, be patient. And you know what? If it's God's will, it will happen. It will happen. But you know, sometimes we want to believe that we're God. We're not. As cool as I think that I am, I'm not. So, you know, we're going to go with that. But I lost $1.5 million on a real estate deal because I wasn't on brand. I tried to be him instead of the best Rocco Castellano I could be. And I wound up almost destroying my whole life because I thought that I should be in real estate and not do personal training and fitness. I followed my passion, and I'm better off now than I was 5 years ago. Way better off. And it only took 5 years. See, that's the cool thing about it. You know, just because you make a mistake doesn't mean that your life's over. My life is far from over. Unless somebody shoots me tomorrow. But you know what? That's still not my issue. I'm not going to worry about that. So I want, you know, this is like fun to watch, but there is real meaning behind it also.
Have to have this to start off with. But you can't take a lot of nonsense from people. You have to go after them. I've always believed it.
We've got some questions for you.
Mr. Trump, you've done great things in your life, and I just wonder, how do I, as an average person, begin?
Well, first of all, never think of yourself as average. You started off with the wrong question because you're not average. You've got a lot going. I see you're smart. I see you're very beautiful. And you're right against Erin. Look how beautiful she is. But, you know, I don't see any difference. So you have to tell yourself that you just have to get that word average out of your vocabulary, and you have to tell yourself that you're great, and you have to believe it. If you can say it and don't believe it, it doesn't matter. So just go out there and work hard.
Well, Mr. Trump, thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Did you personally know what you always wanted to do with your life, or did you develop the dream over time?
Well, actually, I applied to the USC School of Cinema, and I was going to make movies. I always wanted to make movies, or I was going to be a professional baseball player. And I actually had tryouts, and I was always I was the captain of my team, and I was always a really good baseball player, and other things. I love sports. But in those days, you know, you made no money in sports, and who knew what was going to happen. But I actually wanted to make movies, and a friend of mine came up to me and said, you know so much about real estate. It would be a waste if you didn't do it. What I think I've done, to a certain extent, I put show business into the real estate business. So I've really been able to combine it.
You get what he was saying? His real passion.
Hello, Mr. Trump. My name is Frank Mesa, and being a native New Yorker, I just want to thank you for revitalizing our city.
His passion was not real estate. That was his father's passion. But he knew so much about it, and he put what he loves doing the Apprentice TV show. And he loves getting on stage. He loves this. He doesn't get paid for this stuff. You know, to endorse products, he gets paid. Because that's just annoying to him. So for that annoyance, you have to pay him. And I'm not kidding. I mean, that's how he actually looks at it. Because I do the same thing now, too. If you annoy me, you're going to pay me. I mean, and that's it. If you want me to come speak to your, and I can have fun doing it, and I can show my passion, and I can liberate people, I'll do it for free all day. And I do a lot of times. I take the time because I love this shit. I'll talk to you for 10 hours and charge you for, a chocolate bar. You know what I mean? That's just that because I love it so much. The thing is, he has put show business into real estate. But he's more put show business into his life. He bought a Miss Universe like the Miss Universe organization, and I used to work with them. Like that. That's, he likes to be around beautiful women. He made it possible for real estate to be around beautiful women. Because I gotta tell you something, if he wasn't rich, nobody would go out with him.
It's not his hair.
No, he's not overly good looking. He's not overly masculine. He's not, he doesn't embody what most people think of, sexy. So, but he created an environment with and he paid his dues in order to actually do what he's passionate about. For the rest of his life, he's going to be putting showbiz into real estate.
I don't think anybody gives you enough credit for that, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And my question is...
What a nice question. I love this guy. Go ahead.
And my question is, as a 37-year-old man, do you think it's too late to change your life around and start from the beginning, start from scratch, and start to succeed in a whole new way?
Well, you're a young, handsome guy. 37 is really prime time. So the answer is absolutely not. I don't even say it's too late when you're much older than you are, Frank. I think that if you're smart, and you do have to have it. The fact is, some people have it, some people don't. The really smart people are the ones that can see whether or not they do. And there's nothing wrong with having a great job and working from 9 to 5 and having a wonderful family and going home with a good paycheck. But being an entrepreneur is a special talent. And you have to know within yourself, Frank, whether or not you have that.
We do have a question tonight from Singapore. It's a truly global set of questions. Let's hear it.
Greetings from Singapore, Mr. Trump. My name is Nance Chong Como, and I found that some retail chain stores, they were very popular, but went into receivership a few years later. Today, I've bounced back with different businesses. Many people talk about their success, but few would share on their failures. Mr. Trump, how do you find success after a failure?
Well, look, in the early 90s, I had a lot of trouble. We had a real estate collapse. Everybody was, half of my friends were going bankrupt. They were good builders, good developers. They were in deep trouble. I was in very deep trouble. I owed billions and billions of dollars. I never went bankrupt, but I'll tell you something. I certainly use the word a lot in terms of my own thought process. The fact is, you just have to keep on chugging. You have to keep going. And I had an expression. This was 1990. And I came up with an expression that was used by a lot of magazines. Survive till 95. I had to survive. I survived till 95. And today my company is much bigger, much stronger, much everything. It's a solid, unbelievable company, but much bigger than it ever was in the 80s. And that was prime time for me. 80s was very prime time. This is much better. So if you focus, if you stay focused, if you know what you're doing, if you learn your subject, but if you really love what you're doing, you're going to succeed. You're going to succeed.
And Donald, I think that it's interesting when you say that. You've got to love what you're doing. Because I think a lot of people don't realize that that's what it's all about. It's go in and just put in the time, do whatever it takes. But if you lack the passion, it just won't happen.
Even if it's not as good a business. Some people say, what businesses? Now, I can tell you, go into oil, go into real estate, go into different things. But if you don't like those businesses, you're not going to do very well. And I have friends that went into businesses that aren't as good as real estate and oil and various other businesses. They become very successful in a tougher business because they loved what, I don't like what they do. I would never want to go in their business. But they loved what they were doing, and they become very successful.
All right, to have the right billionaire mindset, here's what you need so far. And we're going to be calling them your Trump traits tonight. Well, you need passion. You need to be tenacious. You've got to be willing to take risks. And remember, revenge can be good. We'll have more with Donald Trump and the billionaire inside in just a moment.
Coming up, the skills you need to get what you want.
You have to be able to size up your opponent. I call them an opponent because when they're on the other side of the table, that's what they are. They're an opponent. If you can't do that, then it's called get a job.
And later, a brush with greatness.
This is the way you feel good, right?
Absolutely.
You see my, look, come here. Is it real?
Wow, I can't believe I'm getting
Look, is it real?